You know, when we talk about recoil, you have a few different ingredients going on, Mike. We got the load and how much recoil the load's going to give you, but also the weight of the gun affects it, right?
Absolutely. The weight of the gun is just as important as how heavy the bullet is or how fast it's going, because it affects the speed that it recoils back at. It still recoils the same, just
right.
It affects the speed that it comes back.
We have two very opposite guns, two very opposite loads, but we've kind of done something weird. So we have this big bull barrel Remington 700 in 22-250 shooting this little cartridge with a little bullet, 40 grain bullet?
40 grains.
And how fast is this going?
4,100.
4,100 feet per second. It's essentially a laser beam. And then we have this little guy here, couldn't hurt anybody except it's shooting a 45-70, 400 grain bullet, 10 times the weight.
Exactly, and it's going to go half the speed, but it's 10 times the weight, and so it's going to kick a lot, especially in that little, what is it, about a 6.5 pound gun?
Yeah, it's just a nothing little gun.
Compared to a 10 pounder.
Yeah, this is the Thompson Center Pro Hunter Encore. So let's shoot them and see the difference in recoil, because I think we're going to be able to see the difference on this one.
I love to do it. Let's do it.
All right. So Mike, we got the 22-250 going over 4,000 feet per second, but it's a 40 grain bullet through a heavy gun. I don't think we're going to have a lot of recoil. Let's shoot it through the chronograph. Try to hit the water. I don't know where this thing's sighted in. Here we go. No recoil. But I mean, it's a laser beam. Let's see what we get with the 45-70. All right, Mike, not a lot of recoil with the 22-250. Frankly, for as fast as it's going, it's like nothing.
Oh yeah.
Now this guy, on the other hand,
that's going to be a little bit different.
Well, it's 10 times the bullet weight. It's actually a little bit more powder, so total weight, it's more than 10 times probably. But it's a little gun. It's going to be going slow though.
Yeah, it's going to be going less than half the speed, but the speed and the bullet weight have an equal factor on the actual recoil. And so even if they're in the same size gun, it would have more recoil.
Gotcha.
But since this thing is about 6 pounds and that was about 10,
yeah,
you're going to see the difference.
Let's see it.
All right, you got it.
Man, okay, more recoil there, huh?
Oh yeah, you could definitely feel that it's kicking you good.
We'll see what we got on the chronograph. Looks like 1630.
Yep. It's that big heavy bullet, especially with a little more powder, really makes quite a bit of difference in the recoil, as well as the fact that this gun is literally only 60% of the weight of the other gun.
Exactly. Okay. Obviously, this kind of demonstrates how recoil is affected when you have big caliber, little gun, it's going to kick you. You know, Mike, people will talk about, well, this gun kicks or that gun kicks, but the gun obviously is an inanimate object. It doesn't kick anything.
Exactly.
It's really the load, and then of course the weight of the gun affects things too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But we have two different loads here, and kind of wanted to talk about, basically you have the full load weight. You have not just the bullet weight, but also the way the powder goes into that.
That's correct.
And that's going to affect recoil.
Yeah, when you're doing the calculation for recoil, it's the bullet weight and the powder combined, and then you multiply it by the velocity, and then you divide it by a factor we just won't get into that part. But but that will determine the recoil of the cartridge. But the recoil that you actually feel, you have to factor into the weight of the gun.
Sure. Okay, so all of those are the ingredients for recoil. You have the bullet weight, you have the powder weight, you have the velocity, and then for actually what you're going to feel, the weight of the gun is going to affect that as well.
Absolutely, yep.
Okay, so we have something that I think is a good example. We have two 308 loads. We've got a Ruger Gunsight Scout Rifle, and but these are much different loads. Tell me about them.
Yeah, it's as extreme as I could make it. There's a 200 grain load that we load that's going 2,450 feet per second.
Okay.
On the left is a 110 grain load,
wow,
going 3,200 feet per second, and so there's 90 grains difference in the bullet weight, but the lighter cartridge does have a little bit more powder in it. So
Okay.
it really becomes more like about 80 grains.
About 80 grains difference
Yeah.
in the weight that's going out the end of the barrel.
That's right.
Okay. Same gun, 2 different loads, same caliber. Let's see what we get.
You got it, let's do it.
All right, Mike, we're gonna start off with the 110 grain load. See what kind of recoil we get with this guy. $110 grains, that wasn't bad at all.
No, it looked like it was cake.
All right, let's load up a 200 grain 308. This is a big man of jamma.
Heavy as it gets. We'll see if it makes a difference.
All right, 200 grains out of a 308. Yeah, a little bit more. Cool, all right. One caliber, one cartridge, but different loads. Just kind of shows you the difference in what you're gonna get for recoil.